Hello, and thanks for joining us. Coming up, sex, crime and celebrity. It's the television revolution.
How are your parents?
The usual, you know, mom's good, dad's a woman.
Well?
No.
As the festival Series Mania hits Paris, we're looking at the most anticipated TV shows of the year. How the portrayal of the sexuality of women is evolving for telly, and why the likes of Jude Law, Anthony Hopkins and Nicole Kidman are trying their luck on the little screen. And joining us is series expert Iris Brey, whose book Sex and the Series is out now. Iris, hello.
Hi, Eve.
Now, we're going mad about TV series today because of the festival Series Mania that's on in Paris at the moment. The likes of Sopranos creator David Chase and the star of O.J. Simpson drama Cuba Gooding Jr. are in town, and dozens of different series are being shown on the big screen for free. Now, Iris, is there an explanation as to why TV seems to be taking over cinema in popularity?
Well, because the new TV shows are just excellent, and you know you have the best directors that are coming to direct them. You have the best actors that are coming to play in them. So you have a really quality object that you can watch for a long time, and it's something that you don't have to go to the movies to have access to it. You can just watch it on every screen you want, in your bed, by yourself, with your friends. And so I think it's that freedom that you have that is making TV series something very accessible and something that is almost becoming a necessity in one's week.
Yeah, it definitely is in mine. Well, we spend a lot of time talking about series over the dinner table, and to keep you up to date with what's hot, we asked a series specialist, Pierre Langlais, from the French TV magazine Télérama, what to look out for in 2016, starting with Westworld.
Do you know where you are?
I'm in a dream.
That's right, Dolores.
I'm terrified.
This is without a doubt one of the most highly anticipated TV series of 2016. There's a great cast, Eddie Roos, Anthony Hopkins, lots of others. Westworld's based on a film with the same name, and it has quite an exciting storyline. It's based in a Wild West theme park where the robots wake up and realise they're actually just robots. It's a concept series, so we hope the concept will not only make sense, but bring surprises and entertain us too.
Reality.
What's the get down? You don't know what the get down is?
The Get Down's kind of HBO's answer to Netflix Vinyl. Vinyl was based in the 1960s in the rock and roll scene. The Get Down's about the birth of hip-hop in New York, directed by Baz Luhrmann. It's another musical series, which seems to be the fashion at the moment. But we'll have to wait and see if there are any real characters and a real story in the series. For now, The Young Pope's been kept a secret by its producers, but it's clearly an exciting project. Some very talented people have got together to tell this story. Paolo Sorrentino's directing, and we'll see how Jude Law plays the Pope. We hope that The Young Pope will be a series about the politics of religion.
Une grande série politique dans la religion.
Iris, there seem to be so many to look forward to. Have you got a top one or two that you're looking forward to this year?
Well, I'm watching right now The Girlfriend Experience. I'm at episode 8, and I cannot wait to finish it. I think it's absolutely fascinating. And the other one that I'm really looking forward to is the season 2 of Casual. That's going to be on Hulu in the States and on Canal Plus in France. And so that's a dramedy. You know, it's a family, but it also has two interesting female characters and a mother who's 40 and who's starting to date again. And her sexuality is quite fascinating, actually.
Okay, well, there are certain themes that are reoccurring in successful series like crime, but also like sex. In your new book, you look at sex and the series, especially the evolution of female sexuality for television. Did it all start with Sex and the City then?
It starts before, right? You have characters before that have a sexual life. But what's interesting with that series in '98, is that Carrie Bradshaw is not your typical beautiful blonde girl. She is struggling to find love. She has a great job, and she's really interested in having great sex. And so having sex as part of every episode of that TV show is quite a revolution, because for the first time we're talking about sex in a very liberated manner, and we're saying a lot of things about pleasure, women's pleasure, that weren't really said before in such an explicit way.
And since then, a lot seems to have changed. That was in the early noughties, and that finished. You talk about Girls, the series Girls, in your book, and that seemed to be a real departure of what we'd seen before and the way women were portrayed. A lot has changed, hasn't it?
Well, I think sexuality is something that's always evolving, and that we need to see it also in a cultural context. I mean, Lena Dunham, so the creator of Girls, the showrunner, you know, is in her late 20s. So she grew up with, you know, porn being available for free on the internet. That changes a whole generation's sexuality. But you also have shows like Orange is the New Black on Netflix. Because it's Netflix and because it's another way of writing, you can go a lot further and show many different sexualities in many different characters. And so that's fascinating, that it's not just one female sexuality, is that now you have female sexualities. And so the plural means a lot to me, because finally we're not just seeing one way of being sexually.
And Masters of Sex, a series that I love, is actually about the study of human sexuality, and it's actually based on real events.
Yes, it's absolutely based on real events. So Virginia Johnson is a researcher, and what she's studying in the 60s and 70s with Bill Masters is information that we still don't really have access to. And so it's really interesting to need a TV series to have access to that knowledge. It's as if we don't get that knowledge in school. And so our education is done by TV series to understand how the female body works, for example.
Tell us about a new series then where women play the central role, because until now, apart from things like Sex and the City, it does seem to be all about men, doesn't it?
Well, yes. I mean, you have a lot of new TV series where you have a lot of interesting female characters. One of my favorite right now is also Transparent, but the main character is actually a trans person. It's a man who announces to his family that he will now be a woman, and so he's in his 60s, and the sexuality of his 3 children is really going to evolve when they hear that from their father. And to have sexualities that are always moving and changing, whether it's for men or for women, I think is really fascinating today, that we don't have to think in like straight categories, and that there's a lot more liberty.
There's so many series with big stars: Jude Law, Anthony Hopkins, Nicole Kidman, Kevin Spacey, Matthew McConaughey, Reese Witherspoon. They're all turning to television. Why do you think that is?
Because I think that TV now is seen as the most prestigious thing to do. I think that before films, and we still have the Cannes Festival and all of that, but I think because so many great directors are coming to TV series, and also the fact that TV series are much longer, I think is something very appealing for an actor, because I think you can work on what you are and what you're presenting on for many years sometimes, and that's fascinating to also have spectators that just stay with you for that long, so long.
Well, one of France's best-known actors, Gérard Depardieu, is in one of Netflix's newest dramas, Marseille. Claire Williams takes a look now at what the new show is all about.
The mayor of Marseille hand-picked a successor, but his protégé has become his #1 political rival. For the ambitious upcomer, power is not handed out. You have to take it.
Je vais t'arracher Marseille des mains. Et tu finiras seul, tout seul, sans rien.
One of the final scenes was filmed in the heart of the city's football culture, Olympique de Marseille's home ground.
I'm telling the story of several different characters. Some live in the wealthy areas, others live in the poorer housing estates. And all these characters meet and mix. What's particular about Marseille is that everyone here, including the politicians, loves their city. I've never seen locals have such a big love affair with their hometown.
Netflix says Marseille is not a US import, but an all-French internet TV drama. Filmed in France, it stars big names in French cinema, including Gérard Depardieu as the mayor of Marseille and Nadia Fares.
All the big actors are doing TV series now. This is a first in France for Netflix. So it's a challenge, a risk. It's an amazing opportunity.
After the success of Netflix's first original series, House of Cards, expectations are high. 8 52-minute episodes have been produced so far. If they go down well with viewers, Netflix says the colour and corruption will continue for a second season.
What do you think, Gérard Depardieu as a main character in a series? Does that tempt you?
Not really.
Well, one of my favourite series is starting again this week. It's Game of Thrones. Now, talking about sexuality in Game of Thrones, there's some horrifically violent scenes that we see, aren't there?
There are very problematic rape scenes in Game of Thrones because those scenes are actually eroticized. So there's been a lot of comment on that. But I think that the creators of the show are becoming aware that they just can't show nudity just to please the spectators. There's a lot more to do about women's sexuality in their show. And with Cersei, so the queen, the ending of season 5 is her and her walk of shame, and she's shamed because she's being sexual. And I think that showing the violence, and we're seeing this scene through Cersei's eyes, and it's 7 minutes long. And so I think for once the spectator is actually with the female character, walking with her and feeling that shame. And so I think they're going to change what they're showing for women's sexuality.
Yeah, that was such a powerful scene. I really remember it. Well, what we really want to know, though, is Jon Snow really dead? We'll have to find out in season 6, which airs this week. Iris, Brey, thank you so much for joining us to talk about your book, Sex and the Series. Remember our website. We're also on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
And we remember. The past is already written.
Dragons do not do well in captivity.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Reporters. Exclusive insights. Real people. The stories that matter. All around the world. France 24's international correspondents witness the news as it happens, where it happens, and they bring it to you.
Reporters on France 24 and France24.com.